Hey, what's going on guys, aarava here, and welcome back to another video on F1 2018, bringing you some news from my hands-on experience at E3 2018 yesterday. There's already been two videos that have been live on the channel about F1 2018 news. There was the handling and kind of ERS AI video, and then the more recent one was about the interviews that are coming back for F1 2018. That one links quite heavily to this video, because in that one we talked about showmanship v sportsmanship, a new mechanic, a new kind of thing you have to be aware of in the career mode and in the game, and that kind of links into this one. So if you haven't seen that one especially, be sure to go check that one out before you see this one. So today in this one we're going to be talking about contracts. So contracts weren't really much of a thing in last year's game, bit of a throwaway in terms of moving to other teams. The kind of most they did with contracts was a little cutscene where you signed on a piece of paper, and that was pretty much it. But in this year's game, contracts and contract negotiations are going to be actually a lot more active, and this is literally something that actively I wanted to see the most, I think, out of everything, because you guys will know if you watch my vanilla career mode series, by season 7 I got stuck in Mercedes. I had 3 seasons with Mercedes, I couldn't move away from them, and because I'd moved to Renault, I'd moved to Force India, I'd moved to Red Bull, and due to the reputation system I just pissed off everyone on F1 2017, and I was stuck for 3 seasons in the Silver Arrows, which wasn't great. Really kind of made me not want to play the career mode after season 7. So this kind of rectifies that and builds upon it so much more, like I kind of mentioned with the game idea video I made, like I think at this rate 2 months ago, about I did a concept video essentially about, you know, this contract system I kind of thought up heavily based on FIFA. I thought it'd be really cool to like vie for contracts and, you know, try and go for a better contract, and literally they've actually done something like that. It makes me so happy. Like literally they're not done the exact idea, but they've taken so many good parts from it that I was kind of picturing in my mind, and they've actually made it possible and made it a thing in F1 2018. So let's get through, let's try and explain it to you guys, and try and paint a picture in your head. Obviously, unfortunately, if you don't know already, I wasn't allowed to capture from the hands-on event. I just got an interview with Lee Mather and like a hands-on presentation, so I'm just relaying that information. Hopefully there will be gameplay to show later on in the week, as I believe F1 2018 is appearing on some live streams for IGN and Square Enix, I think. So hopefully I can get some gameplay from that at the end of the week, but for now it's just all information. But nonetheless, very awesome, exciting information to like confirm to you guys and kind of talk about more in depth. So contracts, you can actually now apply for a change of contract, or try and go for a change of team essentially 4 times, up to 4 times a season. 3 to 4 was what Lee Mather told me on the presentation. So that's either going for a new contract with your current team, or maybe looking at some other team. So obviously last video with the interviews, we talked also about each team having their own kind of mindset. You know, Mercedes is a sportsmanship, Red Bull's a showmanship. So you also have to think about that. Like if you've answered your interview questions in a way where on the sliding scale on the menu you can actually see where you fall on the sliding scale from one to the other, depending on where you fall, you might think, okay, I can't go for Red Bull, like I'm too much of a sportsman, I have to go for Mercedes. Or if I do want to go for Red Bull, there might be a good chance that the negotiations don't go through and I'm gonna get a rejection basically from Red Bull. The deal's not gonna work. And also for your own team as well, let's say I'm driving as Ferrari. Let's just say Ferrari is a showmanship team. I mean, I guess they could be both almost, but let's say they're a showmanship team. So let's say if I've been answering it as a sportsmanship, you know, I've been like answering kind of very humbly, very controlled in the interviews, not very fiery, not very kind of, you know, raw Italian passion or whatever you want to call it. Maybe if I want to renegotiate for a better contract, I won't be able to get it from Ferrari because they don't feel like my ethos aligns with them anymore. And when I mean a better contract, I mean this year's game now, your contract has contract perks. In the preview that I watched, it seemed there was only 4 different perks. There might be more coming later on. They might add some in as we go on towards the release in August, the end of August. But the preview I saw on the contract screen, we had basically on, I'm trying to do this from my webcam. So on this side of the screen, you had the sliding scale from veteran to, from rookie to veteran. That's just your career progress, essentially, your experience level. Then you had the slider for sportsmanship to showmanship. Just that can change either way depending on how you answer stuff. And on this side of the screen, there were 4 different contract perks. So they're all grayed out, and you can try and upgrade your contract and maybe color them in, basically. I can't remember off the top of my head, unfortunately, what those contract perks were. They were to do with stuff like the R&D, I believe, and also the first driver. So I think one of them was, I think, the first driver or kind of equal driver. I think one of them had to do with R&D potentially, and stuff like that. I can't remember the top of my head. I didn't write it down at the time because I was too busy actually playing the game whilst we kind of got shown that. But yeah, contract perks are a thing now in F1 2018. And so through the season, you could, let's say you're a second driver for Ferrari. If you pick them from the very start of the career mode, you could then try and improve your contract to get up to a first driver. And depending on how the team's feeling, like the vibe of your team, like, okay, cool, yeah, your ethos lines up with us, showmanship, yeah, cool, that's fine. And you've been performing well. I mean, that's also, overall, this all matters, but also you have to do the job on the track as well, of course. But let's say you have done the job on track, then you can successfully try and negotiate up for a first driver contract, or vice versa, go for a different team. Like, okay, you're a showman, you want to go for another showman team for Red Bull, you're driving for Mercedes right now. At the moment, your ethoses don't align. You've been doing a good enough job. And also, another thing now is, away from the contract for a second, rivalries is also a lot bigger now in this year's game. And I guess that works in tandem because basically you're chasing after contracts essentially. And the rivalry was another thing in F1 2017, which wasn't that great. Like, you got given a rival in F1 2017, you got given your teammate a start off, and then you got given a rival based on your championship. But let's say I didn't want to always fight, e.g. Sebastian Vettel. I want to go to Red Bull, and I want to rival on the Red Bull drivers. In this year's game now, in F1 2018, you have two different rivals on the screen. You have yourself, you have your teammate in the middle, and then you choose your rival. Now, you can choose an easy rival. You can choose Marcus Ericsson if you're in the Ferrari, but that's not going to be much use to you, as you explained. It's not going to get you a lot of rep. It's not going to get you much experience. It's not going to really, the interview questions might, it's not really going to show you much. But if you pick a harder rival and you actually manage to beat them, that'll be very, very positive for you as a driver, perceived in the paddock by all the teams. So let's say I do want to drive for Red Bull. I can literally pick Daniel Ricciardo, Max Verstappen, as one of my rivals. If I beat them, I've literally beaten one of the drivers in the team I want to go for. That's going to be really positive. In the interviews, then I might be asked, how was that race? I can really play it up as a showman. And then when I go to Red Bull, they'll see, okay, cool, right. So I've beaten my rivals. I've had a good track record. I've chosen difficult rivals, including their own driver. I'm a showman in terms of the way I've answered my questions, and I can vie for a Red Bull contract. So it's a lot more engaging. Like, you're the one going out and getting the contracts. As Lee Mather explained to me, is, last year's game, they gave it to us. They gave you the contract, and you either signed it or you didn't. In my case, 2 years in a row, I stayed with Mercedes because I wasn't even given a contract, full stop. So this will never happen anymore, hopefully. The hope is that you'll always be able to switch teams, which is great, because obviously, yes, it's not maybe uber realistic for you to change teams every single season, but let's remember, it's a video game. It needs to be fun, first and foremost, and for people like me with a short attention span, I like to change things up. I like a change of car, change of scenery, change of challenge every single season sometimes, depending on the scenario. If I want to stay in, like, let's say, I know, McLaren, and build them up, I will do that. But eventually, once I've built them up, I don't want to stay there because I've already done the job. So I want to move somewhere else and help another team build up. And that's how you can do that with this contract system. So 3 to 4 times a season, we've been told, we can try and either upgrade our contract with our current team or go for a different team and upgrade their contract, or try and get a contract from a new team. But there's a lot of stress on, you're basically bartering for a better contract, and there's equal opportunity that you could get it wrong and you just don't end up with a good contract. You end up with the same one, actually. So like F1 2017, like the situation I was in, if I don't play my cards right, if I haven't beat my rival, I could still get screwed over like I did in F1 2017, basically, but it wouldn't be due to bad game mechanics. It would be due to the good mechanics of the game kind of showing me, look, you haven't beaten your rival here. You haven't done this. You don't align with with another team or something like that. You don't align with the team enough to offer a first driver role. And so if you do get hit back with unable to move, it's not a case of, right, so it was the reputation system's fault from 2017. It was just you didn't put the pieces together like a little bit of a jigsaw. You didn't put all the pieces together to make the deal work. And this is going to be a little teaser for the 4th video I'm going to be making later today. But with the R&D system, the changes they made to the R&D system, the contracts will also play into it. Like, in terms of the reason why they've also given us more flexibility of changing teams a bit more often in season, 3 to 4 times. You could technically, if you played all your cards right, you could change your teams 3 times during the season, but more kind of realistically, you'll probably just change it at the end of the season or mid-season only once. But the reason why they're giving us more flexibility is because there's going to be a bit of a difference in how R&D works from season to season. That's just as much as I'm going to say. I'm going to wait for the R&D video because I really want to explain how that's going to work. But the contract system means that you're going to really want to consider all your options, even mid-season, and then towards especially the end of the season, like when we get to the last couple of races. You know, you're not going to be focused just on the racing. You're going to want to look ahead, look around, and kind of assess your options and really decide where you want to be for the next season afterwards. Once you get to that, you know, Australian Grand Prix round 1 of the next season onwards, season 2, season 3, whatever you want to do. So I think I've covered everything on the contract system for F1 2018. Like I said, little teaser there. That also feeds into then the R&D system, which they've changed up from last year. They kind of built upon it. So that will be in another video explaining that, because I think that's probably the biggest video actually after out of all these in terms of, you know, I'm really excited that they did this idea, because literally, like I said, it was kind of like an idea I said that I hope they put in 2 months ago. So the fact they've actually kind of almost done literally what I was saying is absolutely awesome. But this feeds into the R&D, which is something that I've been screaming about, and I think a lot of you guys are going to really enjoy going into that video. So watch out for that. If you're new around here, do get subscribed for that. But like I said, haven't watched the previous videos, I talked about handling, the AI improvements, the ERS deployment, and then like I said, the interviews, which fed into this one basically. So you kind of see like it all kind of links in together. And that's also another note in itself before I go here on this video. On this year's career mode, a lot of the pieces of career mode, like all the different menus, are all linking together a lot better. Like in 2017, there was so much disconnect between reputation level and R&D and what I was doing against my rival. There was no connection whatsoever. Like it kind of felt like, okay, if I beat my rival and thrash him, it's not going to mean much from a reputation level. Whereas this year, with the interview questions as well, playing into it, you can really change how you as a driver is perceived in this world of Formula 1 in the paddock. So it makes a huge difference. So be sure to go check out those videos if you haven't. If you have enjoyed this one, hit that like button. Let me know what you thought in the comments below. If you're on your own tier, do get subscribed, like I said, and I will catch you in the next one, guys. Hope you enjoy the rest of your day. Goodbye.